Well, I don't know. Things look promising, but it feels like you take one step forward and you take two steps back when it comes to this whole Epstein story that is going on. Seems like everybody agrees that they would love to have everything come out for the most part, but yet seems like people are still dragging their feet on it. And then I think what you're going to have on top of all of this kind of fun stuff is the credibility as to whether or not the things that are coming out you can actually believe in or not. And case in point today, this birthday book that they have uncovered that Ghislaine Maxwell put together for Jeffrey Epstein's 50th birthday in 2003. Of course, politically, it includes an entry from both President Trump and President Clinton. They both had things to say. Clinton wrote, "It's reassuring, isn't it, to have lasted as long across all the years of learning and knowing adventures." The note that he wrote also praised Epstein's childlike curiosity. That's a weird way to put it. And a drive to make a difference. Then President Trump, his supposed entry appears inside the outline of a woman's body that you've probably seen all over TV by now.
And he's saying he didn't write it.
Right. Now, if you've not seen what he wrote in it, supposedly a pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret. People are like, what is the wonderful secret? And beneath the image is a signature reading Donald, positioned at the outline's waist as if it is forming pubic hair. Now, Donald Trump has already said that he doesn't draw, and he especially doesn't draw women. So that's not something he did, and he said that's not his signature. People like Florida's Byron Donalds saying, yes, that's definitely not his signature. So even though things like this come out, will they ever be proven true? Will it ever stick to anybody, or is it just going to be spin and lies and all these kind of things? That is the big question. I don't really know. Now, there are a lot of other things that are kind of coming out, too. That Jeffrey Epstein birthday book apparently includes also an entry from a Mar-a-Lago member named Joel Pascow, P-A-S-H-C-O-W, who jokes about Epstein selling a, quote, fully depreciated woman to President Trump for $22,500. I don't know what that is. And again, you don't know if somebody's just made this whole book up and put it all together to try to frame somebody. So,
yeah,
you know, that's a possibility as well. That's almost what I feel we're going to head into an age of with this Epstein story, is people almost fabricating evidence and trying to spin it on the other person. Doesn't it kind of feel like that?
Yes, it does feel like both sides are going to try to say, oh, yeah, look at this.
That's all I'm getting that as everything comes out, they try to spin it right back. And we're not worried necessarily about victims getting to the truth, taking down the powerful people that are abusing that power. We're too worried about making this a political thing and not keeping the victims in mind first. And that's what I think is the true travesty. It should not be a political issue. It should be one about victims and power and sexual abuse. And they keep spinning it away from that narrative, and I hate that.
But everything's political, Kevin, even applesauce.
Yeah, it's unfortunate they get that way, and I hope that the powers that be will come together. And the only thing that gives me optimism is you do have bipartisan support on both sides, and they're saying, look, we don't care who this condemns, whatever, we are driving to the truth. And I'm hoping that those people together, Democrats and Republicans working for this, saying, look, we got to get to the truth on this, that they will push through any of these kind of spins and all these things are going to be out there, whether it be false evidence or whether it be somebody trying to downplay what is real evidence, trying to say that it is false.
Which is very confusing.
It really is. But, you know, as you start digging deeper and deeper and deeper as to who they're connected to, there's just so many powerful people that you just wonder if they're ever going to get to it. I had seen one thing about J.P. Morgan and how they kind of knew Jeffrey Epstein was going to be a risk as early as 2006, but they kept him as a client till 2013, and it's all because he was just making them so much money.
Wow.
And so are you going to throw the big companies into this mix as well? And then the other thing is there are a lot of other people, and you wonder, okay, because some people have come up with the theory about Jeffrey Epstein that a lot of this was just for his own appetite. That, you know, other people may have known he was a little bit off, but maybe he was the only one that was abusing all these girls. And we keep looking for a witch hunt for other people. But there are 4 other people. I don't know if you've heard of any of these people. Have you ever heard of Sarah Kellen Vickers?
No.
Okay, there are some other women that are involved with this that are saying, you know, we need to also look at some of these other people. Now, what had happened was in that sweetheart deal back in 2007, they did this plea deal to get immunity. And that's the one thing I really think that's where it all went south. was when they did that deal right here in Palm Beach County with Epstein, and they did immunity for people, and he got the sweetheart deal that he did. It seems like it just derailed the whole process of people getting the, kind of justice that they deserve. Yeah, this Sarah Kellen Vickers, she had scheduled teen massages, paid victims, and was named in civil suits in Maxwell's trial. She was called a criminally responsible participant by a judge, but she was never charged. She claims she was also abused, though. She wound up marrying a NASCAR champ, Brian Vickers, who filed for divorce in February. So she's a person that they would like to ask questions of, but I think she has immunity, so you're not going to see any justice on that. And there are a couple other people, too. This Nadia Marcinko, or Marcinkova, she was dubbed Epstein's sex slave and visited him 67 times in jail. She's on flight logs. She lived in his Palm Beach home, never charged. And like, well, what did she have to do with all this? Clearly, she probably knew. So it's not just Ghislaine Maxwell.
There was other players.
Right. There's also a Leslie Groff, who was Epstein's executive assistant for 20 years. She was booking flights, meetings with CEOs, politicians, celebrities, kind of doing a lot of what Ghislaine Maxwell was. Again, she's been given immunity.
Wow.
So that's just part of it as well. The sweetheart deal goes further than Jeffrey Epstein, is what I don't think a lot of people realize. And who offered those deals to these people and why, I think, is the ultimate question. But like I said, every time there's something that feels like it's a bombshell, it feels like we've taken 2 steps backwards. And this whole birthday book, I feel like it might be more of a distraction than it might be any concrete proof to any kind of guilt.
Are any of those ladies that you named still local?
Yeah, the Nadia Marcinko, she is, I think she might have taken off, but the one that is still in Miami is Sarah Kellen Vickers, the first one I mentioned. So she's still in Miami. But all of these people, including another one, Adriana Ross, who is a former Polish model, she invoked the 5th when it came to questions about Prince Andrew and Bill Clinton when confirming Clinton on some of the flights. She's in Miami too. But they've all gone really quiet and under the radar. They don't want any kind of attention whatsoever. So that's why it's kind of hard, and you got to dig to find some of these names.
Interesting.
Yeah, but there are other people that should be implicit. They just really have got to get a bipartisan, get in front of Congress, pull all this kind of stuff out and say, whatever immunity deals you had don't work anymore.
I think there's too many important people on the list.
Yes.
On both sides.
Yep. And I think that's unfortunately it. Like I said, every time something seems to come out, we have a bit of a breakthrough. It almost looks like it's more of a setback.